What if I told you the Cold War produced warships so terrifyingly powerful that a single submarine could wipe out an entire country in under 60 seconds? Or that the Soviet Union built a submarine so absurdly massive it had its own swimming pool, sauna, and a pet bird aviary, all hidden under the Arctic ice? From nuclear-powered floating cities to battlecruisers armed with enough missiles to annihilate an entire fleet, these 10 legendary Cold War-era warships will absolutely blow your mind. Let's dive in. Number 10. HMS Invincible R05. We're kicking off this list with a warship that was literally about to be sold off to Australia when history came knocking. The HMS Invincible was a light aircraft carrier commissioned by the Royal Navy on July 11, 1980. She was the lead ship of the Invincible-class, originally designed as an anti-submarine warfare carrier during the Cold War. She measured 677 feet long overall, with a beam of 90 feet at the waterline, expanding to 115 feet at flight deck level, and displaced roughly 19,800 tons at full load. The Invincible was powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus TM3B gas turbines generating 112,000 horsepower, giving her a top speed of 28 knots. Her propulsion system was paired with 8 Paxman Valenta diesel generators for electrical power. She carried a Sea Dart guided weapon system for air defense and could operate a mix of Sea Harrier jump jets and Sea King helicopters from her 170-meter ski jump flight deck. Now here's where the story gets incredible. By early 1982, the British government had agreed to sell the Invincible to the Royal Australian Navy for £175 million. The paperwork was practically done. Then on April 2, 1982, Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands. 3 days later, the Invincible was steaming south toward the South Atlantic alongside HMS Hermes as part of the British task force sent to take the islands back. During the Falklands War, the Invincible carried 8 Sea Harriers and 12 Sea King helicopters. Her Sea Harriers provided critical air cover, conducted ground attack missions, and engaged Argentine aircraft in dogfights. The combination of the Harrier's unique vertical takeoff capability and the Invincible's ski jump deck proved remarkably effective in a conflict fought thousands of miles from home base. Argentine media actually reported the Invincible as sunk on several occasions, but she returned home very much afloat and victorious. The Invincible went on to serve in the Yugoslav Wars and the Iraq War before being decommissioned in 2005 and scrapped in 2011. She proved that even a light carrier could be a decisive weapon in a real shooting war. Number 9. Arleigh Burke-class destroyer DDG-51. The Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer is quite simply the most successful warship design of the modern era. First commissioned on July 4, 1991, and named after the legendary World War II destroyer officer Admiral Arleigh Burke, this class has been in continuous production for over 3 decades. The longest production run of any U.S. Navy surface combatant in history. As of recent counts, over 70 are in active service with more on order. The original Flight 1 Arleigh Burkes measure 505 feet long, displace approximately 8,300 tons at full load, and are powered by 4 General Electric LM2500 gas turbines, producing a combined 100,000 shaft horsepower. That gives them speeds exceeding 30 knots and a range of over 4,400 nautical miles at 20 knots. The newer Flight 2A variants are slightly larger, displacing around 9,500 tons, while the latest Flight 3 ships push close to 9,700 tons. At the heart of every Arleigh Burke is the Aegis combat system, built around the AN/SPI-1D multifunction phased array radar. This system can simultaneously track hundreds of targets, aircraft, missiles, surface ships, and submarines, and coordinate the launch of weapons against multiple threats at the same time. It was a revolution in naval warfare when it was introduced. The ship's armament is staggering for a destroyer. She carries over 90 vertical launch missiles in her Mark 41 vertical launch system cells, including Tomahawk cruise missiles for land attack, Standard missiles for air defense, and ESSM for close-range threats. She also packs Harpoon anti-ship missiles, Mark 32 torpedo tubes for anti-submarine warfare, a 5-inch gun, and Phalanx close-in weapon systems. Later variants added helicopter hangars for 2 SH-60 Seahawk helicopters. One critical detail: the Arleigh Burke was the first American warship class designed with lessons from the Falklands War built directly into her DNA. She was built almost entirely from steel, with vital areas protected by 2 layers of steel, plus 70 tons of Kevlar armor. She was also the first U.S. Navy class with collective anti-nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare protection from the ground up. The newer Flight 3 variants carry the even more powerful AN/SPY-6 radar and are being built to fill the air defense gap left by retiring Ticonderoga-class cruisers. The Arleigh Burke isn't just a destroyer. She's the backbone of American naval power. Number 8. Iowa-class battleships. The Iowa-class battleships were already legends from World War II, but what most people don't know is that they were brought back from mothballs in the 1980s and turned into something even more terrifying. Under President Ronald Reagan's 600-ship Navy initiative, all 4 Iowa-class battleships, Iowa, New Jersey, Missouri, and Wisconsin, were recommissioned between 1984 and 1988. These 887-foot, 58,000-ton behemoths had their classic World War II-era armament, 9 16-inch guns that could hurl 2,700-pound shells over 23 nautical miles. But now they were upgraded with Cold War-era weaponry. Each ship received 8 armored box launchers carrying 32 BGM-109 Tomahawk cruise missiles, 4 quadruple launchers for 16 RGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and 4 phalanx close-in weapon systems for point defense. The result was a hybrid warship unlike anything else on the planet. She could bombard shore targets with her massive 16-inch guns at medium range, strike targets over 1,000 miles away with Tomahawk cruise missiles, engage enemy ships with Harpoon missiles, and defend herself against incoming aircraft and missiles with phalanx systems, all while being protected by armor thick enough to shrug off most conventional anti-ship missiles. The ultimate test came during Operation Desert Storm in January 1991. USS Missouri and USS Wisconsin launched Tomahawk cruise missiles against Iraqi targets, marking the first combat use of Tomahawks from a battleship. Wisconsin alone fired 24 Tomahawks during the campaign. Both ships also provided devastating naval gunfire support, with their 16-inch guns pounding Iraqi positions along the Kuwaiti coast. Iraqi soldiers reportedly attempted to surrender to a Pioneer drone launched from the Wisconsin. Possibly the first time in history, enemy troops tried to surrender to an unmanned aircraft. The Missouri was the last to be decommissioned on March 31, 1992, ending the era of the battleship forever. Today, all 4 Iowa-class ships survive as museum ships across the United States. Number 7. Ticonderoga-class cruiser CG-47. The Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser was the very first surface warship to carry the Aegis combat system, the revolutionary radar and weapons platform that changed naval warfare forever. The lead ship, USS Ticonderoga, was commissioned on January 22, 1983, and over the next decade, 27 ships of the class were built. They became the most powerful surface escorts in any navy on the planet. These cruisers displace approximately 9,600 tons at full load, measure 567 feet in overall length, and are powered by 4 General Electric LM2500 gas turbines producing 80,000 shaft horsepower for a top speed exceeding 30 knots. Their crew complement is roughly 330 officers and enlisted. The Ticonderoga class was the first to deploy the AN/SPY-1 phased array radar as part of the Aegis weapon system. This radar continuously scans the sky in all directions simultaneously, no mechanical rotation required, and can track over 200 targets while guiding missiles to more than a dozen of them at the same time. When it was introduced, no other ship in the world could match this capability. Starting with the 6th ship in the class, USS Bunker Hill, the Ticonderoga cruisers were fitted with 122 Mark 41 vertical launch system cells, 61 forward and 61 aft. These cells can fire Standard missiles for air defense, Tomahawk cruise missiles for land attack, and ASROC anti-submarine rockets. Add in 2 5-inch guns, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, torpedo tubes, and 2 SH-60 helicopters, and you have a warship that can dominate in every dimension of warfare: air, surface, subsurface, and land strike. During the Gulf War in 1991, Ticonderoga-class cruisers served as the air warfare commanders for carrier strike groups, coordinating the air defense of the entire fleet while also launching Tomahawk strikes against Iraqi targets. They later played critical roles in every major American naval operation from the Balkans to Afghanistan to Iraq. Several Ticonderoga-class ships have also been upgraded for ballistic missile defense, capable of intercepting incoming ballistic missiles in the upper atmosphere using the SM-3 missile, a capability that no other cruiser class in history has ever possessed. Number 6. Ohio-class submarine SSBN 726. If you had to pick the single most destructive weapon system ever deployed by any nation in history, the Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine would have a very strong case. These boats are the backbone of America's nuclear deterrent, the silent, invisible third leg of the nuclear triad. Built by General Dynamics Electric Boat, the first Ohio-class submarine was commissioned on November 11, 1981. 18 boats were eventually completed, with the last entering service in 1997. Each Ohio-class SSBN measures 560 feet in length, has a beam of 42 feet, and displaces 18,750 tons submerged. She is powered by a single S-8G pressurized water nuclear reactor driving 2 geared steam turbines that produce 60,000 shaft horsepower through a single shaft. Her submerged speed exceeds 25 knots, and her range is limited only by food supplies. The reactor never needs refueling during a normal patrol cycle. The firepower of an Ohio-class submarine is almost incomprehensible. Each SSBN carries 20 Trident 2D5 submarine-launched ballistic missiles. Each Trident II can carry multiple, independently targetable re-entry vehicles, up to 8 W-88 nuclear warheads, each with a yield of 475 kilotons, or up to 12 W-76 warheads at 100 kilotons each. The missiles have a range exceeding 12,000 kilometers, or roughly 7,500 miles. A single Ohio-class submarine, firing all 20 missiles, can strike targets across an entire continent with devastating nuclear force. The missiles can all be launched in under 1 minute. The crew operates in 2 rotating teams, a blue crew and a gold crew, to maximize the time the submarine spends on deterrent patrol. Each patrol typically lasts around 70 to 90 days, and the submarine remains submerged and virtually undetectable for the entire duration. The boats are built from HY-80 high-strength steel and can operate at depths exceeding 800 feet. 4 Ohio-class boats, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, and Georgia, were later converted into guided missile submarines, each carrying up to 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles in modified launch tubes, making them some of the most heavily armed conventional strike platforms in the world. The Ohio-class represents the ultimate expression of naval power, invisible, invincible, and capable of ending civilizations. Number 5. Kirov-class battlecruiser. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union realized it could never match America carrier for carrier. So instead, it built something completely different, the Kirov-class nuclear-powered battlecruiser, the largest and most heavily armed surface combatant warship built since World War II. The lead ship, Kirov, was laid down at the Baltic shipyard in Leningrad on March 26, 1974, launched in December 1977, and commissioned on December 30, 1980. 4 ships were eventually completed: Kirov, Admiral Lazarev, Admiral Nakhimov, and Pyotr Veliki, Peter the Great. Each ship displaces 24,300 tons standard and approximately 28,000 tons at full load. They measure 252 meters, 827 feet in length, with a beam of 94 feet and a draft of 30 feet. To put that in perspective, these ships are roughly the size of World War I-era battleships. The Kirov-class uses a unique combined nuclear and steam turbine propulsion system designated KONAS, featuring 2 KN-3 nuclear reactors paired with 2 GT-3A6-88 steam turbines. Together, this system produces 140,000 shaft horsepower, giving the ship a top speed of 32 knots. On nuclear power alone, at 20 knots, her range is essentially unlimited. The armament is where these ships truly earn their battlecruiser designation. Each Kirov carries 20 P-700 Granite supersonic anti-ship cruise missiles. NATO designation SS-19 shipwreck, each capable of carrying a conventional or nuclear warhead at speeds exceeding Mach 2 over ranges of several hundred kilometers. For air defense, the ships carry 96 S-300F Fort long-range surface-to-air missiles, plus additional medium and short-range SAM systems, torpedo tubes, anti-submarine rocket launchers, and multiple rapid-fire gun mounts. The total missile load on a single Kirov-class ship exceeds that of many entire naval task groups. The modernized Admiral Nakhimov, currently undergoing sea trials, is being upgraded with an estimated 174 vertical launch cells, more than any other warship on Earth, capable of firing hypersonic Zircon missiles. Whether the aging Kirov-class is still relevant in modern warfare remains hotly debated, but there's no question these ships were, and remain, some of the most formidable surface combatants ever put to sea. Number 4. Typhoon-class submarine. If the Ohio-class is terrifying, the Soviet answer was downright apocalyptic. The Typhoon-class ballistic missile submarine, designated Project 941 Akula by the Soviets, meaning shark, is the largest submarine ever built by any nation in history. Nothing else even comes close. The lead boat, TK-208, was laid down at the Sivmash shipyard in Severodvinsk in 1976, launched in 1980, and commissioned in 1981. 6 Typhoons were built in total. Each one measures 175 meters, 574 feet in length, with a beam of 23 meters, nearly 75.5 feet. That is almost as wide as an entire football field. Submerged displacement reaches a staggering 48,000 tons, nearly equal to the displacement of the German battleship Bismarck from World War II. The Typhoon's internal design is unlike any other submarine ever built. Instead of a single pressure hull, the Typhoon uses a revolutionary multi-hull design. 2 separate Delta-class pressure hulls run parallel inside the outer hull, with a third smaller pressure hull positioned above them. This catamaran-like arrangement gave the submarine enormous internal volume and remarkable survivability. That internal space was put to extraordinary use. Typhoon crews enjoyed amenities unheard of on any other submarine. A swimming pool, a sauna, a small gymnasium, individual sleeping bunks rather than hot bunking, and even a lounge area. The crew complement was 160 sailors, who could remain submerged for over 120 days at a stretch. But don't let the comfort fool you. The Typhoon's purpose was apocalyptic. Each submarine carried 20 R-39 RIF ballistic missiles, NATO designation SSN-20 Sturgeon, with a range of up to 8,300 kilometers. Each missile carried up to 10 independently targetable nuclear warheads. That means a single Typhoon-class submarine could carry up to 200 nuclear warheads aimed at 200 different targets. The submarine was specifically designed to operate under Arctic ice, capable of breaking through ice several meters thick to launch its missiles. She was powered by 2 OK-650 pressurized water nuclear reactors, producing 380 megawatts of thermal power, driving 2 steam turbines at 50,000 shaft horsepower each for a submerged speed of 27 knots. Despite her enormous size, the Typhoon was reportedly surprisingly quiet, with advanced acoustic dampening coatings on her outer hull. The Typhoon-class was immortalized in Tom Clancy's best-selling novel, The Hunt for Red October, and the 1990 film starring Sean Connery. The last active Typhoon, TK-208 Dmitry Donskoy, was finally retired from service, ending the era of these underwater leviathans. They remain the largest submarines ever built, a record that may never be broken. Number 3. USS Enterprise CVN-65. The USS Enterprise holds a place in naval history that no other ship can claim. Commissioned on November 25, 1961, she was the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, and for decades, the longest naval vessel ever built at 1,123 feet from bow to stern. Her crew called her Big E, and her motto said it all: 8 reactors, none faster. The Enterprise was powered by 8 Westinghouse A2W nuclear reactors, generating approximately 280,000 shaft horsepower through 4 steam turbines and 4 propellers. During her sea trials, she reached a top speed of 33.6 knots, remarkably fast for a ship displacing over 93,000 tons at full load. Her flight deck measured 257 feet wide and covered an area of roughly 4.47 acres, large enough to accommodate nearly 100 aircraft. She carried a crew of over 5,800, more than the population of many small towns. In 1964, the Enterprise participated in Operation Sea Orbit, a historic circumnavigation of the globe by an all-nuclear task force. Together with the cruiser USS Long Beach and the destroyer USS Bainbridge, the Enterprise sailed around the world without refueling once, covering over 30,000 miles in 65 days. This single demonstration proved that nuclear-powered naval forces could operate anywhere on Earth without being tethered to fuel supplies. The Enterprise was the first nuclear-powered ship to see combat, launching airstrikes during the Vietnam War starting in 1965. She participated in the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, enforcing the naval blockade around Cuba. She supported operations in Lebanon, Libya, and Iraq throughout the 1980s and 1990s. After September 11, 2001, the Enterprise was among the first carriers to launch strikes against Taliban targets in Afghanistan. She was originally intended as the first of 6 identical carriers, but the enormous construction cost, $451.3 million in 1961 dollars, led to the cancellation of the other 5. She served for an incredible 51 years before being formally decommissioned on February 3, 2017. Her nuclear reactors prevented her from becoming a museum ship, and she was sent to Newport News for dismantling. But her legacy lives on. The 9th ship to carry the name Enterprise, CVN-80, is currently under construction. Number 2. USS Nimitz CVN-68. If the Enterprise proved that nuclear-powered carriers were possible, the Nimitz-class proved they were essential. The USS Nimitz, commissioned on May 3, 1975, became the lead ship of the most successful class of supercarriers in history. 10 ships that have served as the backbone of American global naval power for half a century. Named after Fleet Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, the Pacific Fleet commander during World War II, the USS Nimitz displaces over 100,000 tons at full load. She measures 1,092 feet in overall length, with a beam of 252 feet at the flight deck and 134 feet at the waterline. She stands as tall as a 24-story building from keel to masthead. Her flight deck can accommodate roughly 90 aircraft, a mix of fighter jets, electronic warfare planes, airborne early warning aircraft, and helicopters. The Nimitz is powered by 2 Westinghouse A4W nuclear reactors, driving 4 steam turbines that produce 260,000 shaft horsepower across 4 shafts. This gives her a top speed of 31.5 knots, over 36 miles per hour, despite her enormous size. Her nuclear reactors provide enough energy to power the ship for over 20 years before refueling, giving her essentially unlimited range. The only limitation on how long she can stay at sea is food for her crew of over 5,600 personnel. The 10 Nimitz-class carriers, Nimitz, Eisenhower, Carl Vinson, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, John C. Stennis, Harry S. Truman, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush have participated in virtually every major American military operation since the mid-1970s. They've enforced no-fly zones, launched strikes in Iraq and Afghanistan, provided humanitarian relief after natural disasters, and maintained a constant forward presence that shapes global geopolitics every single day. Each Nimitz-class carrier operates as the centerpiece of a carrier strike group, typically accompanied by a guided missile cruiser, 2 or 3 destroyers, an attack submarine, and a supply ship. A single carrier strike group carries more combat aircraft than the entire air force of most countries and can project power across millions of square miles of ocean. The last Nimitz-class carrier, USS George H.W. Bush, was commissioned in 2009. The lead ship, USS Nimitz herself, has served for over 50 years and is currently preparing for decommissioning. The Nimitz-class will be gradually replaced by the new Gerald R. Ford-class carriers, but their legacy as the dominant warships of the late 20th century is unassailable. No other class of warships has projected more power, more consistently, across more of the globe, for a longer period of time. Number 1, the entire Cold War nuclear submarine fleet. Wait, we're not giving the number 1 spot to a single ship. We're giving it to the concept that changed everything. The nuclear-powered submarine fleet that emerged between 1955 and 2000 represents the single greatest revolution in naval warfare since the invention of the aircraft carrier. And the reason is simple. For the first time in history, a single vessel could hide beneath the ocean and carry enough destructive power to end human civilization. Between the American Ohio-class, the Soviet Typhoon-class, the British Vanguard-class, the French Le Triomphant-class, and the Chinese Type 094, the ballistic missile submarine transformed geopolitics itself. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction, the very thing that prevented World War III, rested on the guarantee that no matter what happened on land or in the air, there would always be nuclear-armed submarines hiding beneath the waves, ready to deliver a devastating retaliatory strike. No first strike could ever eliminate them all. The Ohio-class alone, with its 14 active SSBNs, each carrying 20 Trident II missiles with multiple nuclear warheads, represents roughly 70% of America's total deployed nuclear arsenal today. These submarines patrol silently in the deep ocean for months at a time. They communicate through extremely low-frequency radio signals. They can launch their missiles from virtually anywhere on the planet, and they have never been reliably tracked by any adversary. That is the ultimate expression of naval power. Not the biggest gun, not the thickest armor, not even the fastest speed. It's the ability to remain invisible, invulnerable, and armed with the power to reshape the world, hiding patiently beneath the surface of the sea. If this video blew your mind, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another deep dive into the most incredible machines ever built. Drop a comment below which warship on this list impressed you the most. I'll see you in the next one.